It's feel the fear, have the doubts, go for it anyways. I mean, it's what I live by because it's like, okay, yeah, you could be scared, but like you could also be so scared that you're just like crippled by it, anxiety, and you don't do anything with it. Or you could just literally just doubt it and do it. Good.
Alison Victoria, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We're so excited. For those who don't know Alison, she is an interior designer extraordinaire, probably best known for your show where you renovate projects in Chicago. It's called Windy City Rehab, and it aired in 2019. You created, executive produced, and host the show, and it's
Yes.
nominated for 2 nominations, Daytime Emmys and Critics' Choice Real TV Awards. So that's
Yep.
very exciting.
So
How did you get
exciting.
started on this journey? Tell us all about it.
So I have been an interior designer. Well, I've been a designer since I was 11. And then I actually went to school for it. Like I've always been designing like my room and my friends' rooms. And my mom always dabbled in design. So it's what I knew I wanted to do at a very young age. Um, but the TV part of it happened because I got a random email from a production company. I don't even know what year it was, but they were like, "Hey, we're looking for designers in Chicago that want to be part of a show on HGTV." At the time, actually, it was DIY Network. And I just wrote them back and they said, "We want to come meet you and your team at one of your projects." And they came out and they're like, "You got the job." And I'm like, "I don't know what that means." They were like, "You're going to be a ghost designer for a show called House Crashers." And which for people that don't know, there's a lot of ghost designers. That means that it's being designed behind the scenes. And they're like, "You're not going to get
Interesting.
paid a lot of money. You're not going to be on television. And, pretty much your designs are not, no one's going to know it's you." And I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll do it." Because it's a stepping stone. So I said,
Yeah.
I'm young and I just started my company and this makes sense to me. So I did the show. They said, "We'd love to put you on camera." They put me on. And after that, they were like, "We want to follow you around your real life as a designer and see what happens." And they ended up pitching me for a different show concept. And I said no. It just didn't make sense for me in my life at that point. And then I was watching the show that I did. I was watching House Crashers, and it was a big marathon on DIY Network called Crasher Week or something. And I was watching them like, these are just a bunch of like dudes on here. There's no female host. So I threw the idea at them. I'm like, "What if you let me be the first female crasher and I do the heart of the home? I get to do the kitchens." And they said yes. And then I had a show and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't quit my day job because I didn't think it would last. And then 9 seasons later, Kitchen Crashers came to an end. And before it came to an end, I had already pitched Windy City Rehab. So that's how my TV career got started. But I've always been doing design.
What a journey. Okay, I want to go back to though you saying you started this at 11 years old. what what was like you just loved design and started designing houses for friends at 11?
Yeah, I started designing my room because I shared a room with my sister, and I was trying to
Oh
figure out
my
like
gosh.
space planning and how like it could feel like it's not a room that's shared, and like how I like,
That's
I would
incredible.
yeah, I would like turn my old Laura Ashley dresses into pillows. And my best friend Britt, I redid her room. We like ripped up the carpet and painted everything peach. And yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
Oh my gosh. Was there ever a potential pivot, or since you loved
No,
it starting at 11 then you were just like, I'm rolling with this?
I never stopped. It was like it was just exactly what I wanted. So during my years in college, I got an internship with a designer very early on. So I worked full time in the field while going to school. And then when I got out of school, I got my dream job with a home builder in Vegas. I ended up like building houses from the ground up in Las Vegas and then in Park City, Utah with with a
Oh, nice.
builder, and I wanted to do everything else after. Like I kept giving them the keys back when everything was done, like countertop, all the hardscapes were done.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, 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 no. I want to do all the pretty stuff. So I started my company, Alison Victoria Interiors, when I was 24. And um, and the company that I worked for, I told them I was quitting, but I wouldn't leave right away. I would finish out all my projects with all my clients as long as they helped me with my company. And they did. In fact, the owner of the company gave me my first client. And so I started doing design with my new firm.
That's incredible. Well,
Yeah.
you make the most beautiful, beautiful things. I mean, it's interior design really does just transit like it changes everything about a home and everything you make, everything I see on your Instagram, I'm always like, oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Really, it's
I just
stunning.
noticed I have you literally just staring at like a wine refrigerator.
It's a beautiful wine refrigerator.
It
So
is,
I'm
but I guess I
happy to
can make
stare at it.
my house a little more there. Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Just Ingredients. Just Ingredients is a company that practices what they preach. They offer a variety of health and wellness products without any added sweeteners, sugars, or additives, just real ingredients. I started following their founder, Carolyn, a couple of years ago because I was so inspired by her story of how she healed her mental health through changing the way that she ate and the things that she used. And she founded the company to allow other people to do the same. So I am a huge fan of their protein powder, of their pre workout, of their electrolytes. They're really amazing products. And the happy news is that they never offer really any discounts and have like one sale a year, but they are offering a discount to our lucky listeners. So if you want to try the products for yourself, use code QBC15 for 15% off your order at justingredients.us. Again, that's code QBC15 for 15% off your order at justingredients.us. Thank you so much to Just Ingredients for sponsoring.
Yeah.
What was the transition like for you then from just a normal career, well, a very successful normal career, to TV and like being this TV persona?
Because it was DIY network, it wasn't like I wasn't like recognized right away. I never forget
Yeah.
I was recognized for the first time at the airport in Colorado and Denver. And I was like, what is this? Just it didn't feel normal. And
Yeah.
and it still doesn't feel like it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like real life. Sometimes it feels like I'm in a game or something, but for me, I think it still feels weird because I don't think about it that way. Like I know what
Yeah.
I do, but I also like I just live my life and the cameras are there. Some shows, of course, some other shows that I do, they're produced and it's different and fun and kitschy. But for the most part, like my life is my show and it's a real docu-series. So I don't ever think of it that way. I think that's why I always get so shocked when people do say hi or want to take a picture. I'm like, how is
Yeah.
this my life?
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very out of body where I just constantly feel that way. And so I feel like there wasn't really a big shift for me. It was let me do what I love. Let me be authentic. Always authentic. Even in the beginning of my career, like the network, I mean, we've been through so many changes with my network. Started off when it was called Scripps Networks, and then we were acquired by Discovery, and now we merged with Warner Brothers. But in the very beginning, when I started doing Kitchen Crashers, they were like, "We want to change this about you, and like maybe you wear something like this instead, or you can take off your jewelry." And I'm like, "No, maybe no, because this is who I am." And it's like if
You,
you don't like this, then there's not much more I can do. And I think that's why I didn't quit my day job. I'm like, there's no way this is gonna last. So it's been absolutely amazing that it has been going on this long. I mean, it's almost 14 years I've been doing TV, which is
oh my gosh.
awesome. The things that have
Yeah.
happened because of it, the opportunities that I've had because of it. It's beautiful life.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it interesting though how people are so I mean, you hear stories about celebrities and famous people all the time, and they get so much criticism and so much input about how they should dress, what they should look like. but people can tell immediately if you're not authentic and they're not drawn to that. And when you are authentic and you stay true to yourself, people are just so drawn to other people who are really confident in who they are and who aren't willing to change that. And I think that's why people have loved watching you so much on TV.
Oh, well, I hope so. I really do. And I feel that because when people do come up, they're so invested in my life. They know
Yeah.
me. They're like, I saw what you went through with all the lawsuits and I saw when your father passed away and like you've just been an inspiration and when you were going through IVF and freezing your eggs, like they're on this journey with me. I hate to say the word
Yeah.
journey, but
No.
they're
Yeah.
on this path with me and it's so it's just unreal to it's unreal. Like I
Yeah, I
look at like
bet.
my I don't even know. Like I live in a dream. I'm like filming with Ty Pennington, and now he's like one of my very close friends. And I'm like, what? I get to film with Retta. I get to film a show called Ugliest House in America with Retta. Like she was on Parks and Rec and like Good Girls, and you know. And I'm like, and now
Yeah.
she's not just doing a show with me. She's my friend. It's
Yeah.
it's a crazy life. Like, I'm at the New Kids on the Block concert. I grew up and I was in love with Jonathan Knight, and now he's, like, one of my really good friends, and I'm at the concert backstage. I'm like, if 14-year-old me not even, sorry, 9-year-old me would have been like, "Not a chance in hell this is happening." It's crazy.
It's beautiful though. I mean, dreams do come true, but I'm sure they still kind of feel like a dream when they do.
They do not feel real. It
Yeah.
is it's good and it's bad because that surreal feeling can get a little creepy sometimes when you're like,
Yeah.
"Is this like a simulation or is this real life or what is that?" Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the question of the show that we love to ask, and it will be twofold because you have such an expertise in interior design and you're also a human being with your own experiences and your own life lessons. But the first question is, what's the best piece of life or personal advice that you've ever gotten?
I got it from a book. Um, it's from a book called The Six Secrets of Six-Figure Women. It was the book that
I
I
love
read that
it.
inspired me to quit my job and start my business and never look back. And it's feel the fear, have the doubts, go for it anyways. And so I have that, like, it's, like, tattooed on me in French. I don't know why in
Yeah.
French. I love everything French, but yeah, I mean, it's what I live by because it's like, okay, yeah, you could be scared, but, like, you could also be so scared that you're just, like, crippled by it, anxiety, and you don't do anything with it. Or you could just literally just doubt it and do it.
I love that. Do you have a specific experience or example in your life maybe where that fear has been very real and you went for it anyway and you were proud of yourself for doing it?
Yeah, God, that's happened quite a bit. It's happened quite a bit. I mean, the first one was when I quit my job. And that was scary. I was 23. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had to like let go of the ledge of like a steady paycheck, insurance, and just like take the plunge and do it. And the fear doesn't stop. Like there's fear every day. But I think now that I've learned to transform the fear my fear used to come out in like as anger.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning, I'm practicing to turn that what was once anger, into more curiosity. So, like and also to realize, like, if it's out of my control, I have to let it go. I'll focus only on the things that are in my control. Like, when I was being sued in front of the whole world, um, I thought, "Okay, I can't change certain things, but I can control these things." So, how do I choose to get up today and go through it? And it was just making sure that it was like authentic, that I was showing up, that I was doing the right thing. And maybe it moved the needle, maybe it didn't, but like, but I was there. I was fighting the fight. And so, yeah, that fear never goes away ever. Like, I have so much fear. I have fear about like what's next and is it going to work? And, am I going to get new clients? Am I going to I don't know. Am I
Yeah.
gonna flip homes again? Am I gonna yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, you've had, like you said, I mean, this long TV career now, this long career in general. I think when I talk to a lot of successful people, it's funny, but they always have the fear that one day it's just going to end. Like one day it's just no one's going to care anymore. And is that like still a fear for you? It's funny because everyone from the outside looking in is like, oh, wow, you've like reached the top. But it seems like then the top gets higher and higher and you're scared of falling.
For me, I think, I will say this one thing that I remember, and without naming any names, but I think when you start thinking that too much,
Yeah.
or if you start like not living in reality and this career could get you to a different level, like when that day comes, because there's going to be a day that it comes where maybe the show's not getting picked back up, or maybe there's no new show right now, or maybe like you're less relevant. Like if you really love what you do, which I do, I love design. I have my own firm and my own clients outside of television, and I will never get rid of that. I will never quit my day job. And so for me, I don't fear what if this part of my life comes to an end, because just a chapter, and these chapters might continue with me being on television doing what I love, or it might continue with me just doing what I love. But it doesn't matter because I love both of them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that part doesn't scare me at all. Like, what if I wake up one day and people don't know who I am, or they don't see me on TV? Like, okay, it's the same as the day that they do recognize me. So I'm happy
Yeah.
with I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my friends and my family, and like the way that I've designed my life.
No pun intended, but that is really beautiful. I mean, I think, yeah, if you focus on all the parts of your life that matter, then things that you could potentially lose don't seem that big because the things that matter, you're never going to lose. Like who you are at your core is
Yeah.
something you'll never lose.
Yeah. That's why I think I'm not so great at social media, because I'm so present wherever I am that like I don't want to record everything I'm doing. And I get it. I'm missing opportunities. I'm missing, partnerships and um deals to do things on my Instagram. But I also really enjoy being in the moment with whoever I'm with, and not
Yeah.
having my phone connected to me and not being that accessible, because I think because I am so accessible on my shows, and I work a lot doing those shows, that I like to have the privacy. And if I didn't get 20 likes or 20,000 likes one day, I don't know, because I'm not looking. I've
Yeah.
literally just, and that's my choice. That's what I'm doing. I know that I could be way more successful if I chose to focus my energy on social or my TikTok and actually trying to get that to be something. But like I'm happy.
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way. I mean, my Instagram clearly I don't really share a lot of personal things. I will every once in a while, but this podcast is like the first time I even shared my face on my page. And I just realized like, kind of the same thing as you, like it is not authentic for me to share things about my life on social media. For some people that really might be. Like that is them expressing themselves in their best way. And I think it's a hard fact that like for some people that's just not authentic for them. And I don't think we should be forcing everyone just because, like you said, you're on TV. I don't think that means you like owe people a look into every aspect of your life.
No, God, I agree with you. I think it's just part of the business, right? I think it's like the more you reveal, the more accessible you are. The more,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean you're being raw. It doesn't mean you're being authentic. It means you're working more, and
Yeah.
you're constantly connected,
Yeah.
constantly connected. And that just doesn't work for my life.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do you have a best piece of now putting your interior designer hat on? Because everyone wants to, I mean, you can't talk to someone as good at interior design as you and not ask about, like, you know, the tips and tricks. But do you have a best piece of design advice that someone gave you, maybe early on in your career, maybe later on in your career, that always stuck with you that kind of helped you develop your own style, business, whatever it may be?
No, I think for me, it was just like sticking to what felt right for me, like what I love doing, which is mixing old and new. But also what I really feel like I'm good at is designing for my clients and listening to my clients and not just pushing my agenda. So for a
Mm.
really long time in my career, it wasn't like you could go into one of my houses or one of my rooms or one of my anything, restaurants or bars or whatever. You couldn't walk in and be like, oh, that's Alison Victoria. I think as I started doing more older homes in Chicago, I started to actually have people notice my style. So I think no one taught me this. It was more of like a just always being authentic in the way that I design. If it's something that I love, I push for it with a client. I also
Mhm.
know when to stop pushing and also to collaborate with clients, which means then it's not all my design. So I
Yeah.
think it's just but as an interior designer, you're working with clients. You're not working for a client. They're not working they're not paying you just to take control. It's a collaboration.
Yeah.
So I don't know that design advice along the way. I think I've kind of paved it myself where it's just like if something feels good, it's like a gut feeling, which like when red flags happen, pay attention to them. When the butterflies happen, when I see a piece of stone or I see a piece of fabric or I find an antique hutch or a fireplace mantle, I just know it feels right. And I love design the way that I love my my greatest love in life, my partner. It's the same type of love, like it's the same endorphins. I talk about design and I light up the way I light up when I talk about him. So it's truly like one of my greatest loves.
Yeah. I love that. Switching the narrative a little, or the question, do you have a best piece of advice that you would give to someone else who maybe is just starting out in their career, maybe where you were 20, 30 years ago, and is looking to take that leap like you did, but is kind of scared, doesn't know where to start?
My advice is find designers or a firm where you can go and be a sponge,
Hmm.
be a like shadow anyone in this industry. See how they walk, see how they talk, see how they organize their materials and go and meet with clients, see how they source items, see how they invoice, see like really truly be a sponge because I learned way more in the field than I did in the classroom. And that would never have happened if I didn't do those internships early on in my career. So, yeah, that would
I
be
love
it.
that. Do you have a best piece of advice that you would give your in your 40s, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of our listeners might be 20s, teens. You have a lot more life experience than some of them. Do you have a best piece of advice that you would give them about your personal life? Maybe something you wish someone would have told you when you were younger that would have just made life a little easier.
I mean, looking back, I would be like, it's going to be okay. Like,
I love
it's always going to work out. It's not the end of the word. And it feels like that. It felt like that in my 20s. It felt like that in my 30s. It has felt like that in my now 43. Um, but if I could go back and exercise a little more patience and a less control, then I think I probably wouldn't have stressed as much. And also like just like truly follow your gut. If something's going on, like we're cellular bodies and we feel things. Some way more than others. Like I am extremely in tune to like energy, someone's energy who's with me, but like just go with your gut. If something feels wrong, it's probably wrong. And if something feels right, then take the leap. Go for it.
Have you had a time in your life where something definitely felt wrong and you maybe you did listen to your gut or maybe you didn't and you wish you had?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had an ex business partner and I knew it in my gut and I just didn't do anything about it right away. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice that I think, I mean, like your experience. I think it's so easy to say go with your gut, and then a lot of times we try and ignore it because maybe our gut is inconvenient, or maybe we try and gaslight ourselves and make it seem like, "Oh, it's actually not as serious as it seems." But I do feel like in your heart of hearts, if you look back on some of the unfortunate things that happen in your life, you sometimes, like, do kinda feel it in your core before it happens.
You always do. Always do. There's something. Maybe you tense up your face or maybe you feel your chest get a little tight. Like something's telling you and we're not
Yeah.
paying attention to it. So being that's another thing. I would go back and tell myself like be more in tune to like your body.
Hmm.
Like when something feels wrong, like when your neck hurts, like maybe don't ignore it. Don't push it. Just like when like
Yeah.
something's wrong, like you just felt it, like that's not right, what they just said or what they did or how this feels going into a situation. It's the same thing. You got to pay attention to it.
Do you have any mantras or affirmations that you've used throughout your life that have helped you?
I mean, I have one. My brother has it tattooed actually on his shoulder. And I remember asking him, I'm like, why do you have that on your shoulder? He's like, oh, it's from this movie. Um, God, I forgot True Lies or something. I don't know. I don't even think I saw the movie, but it just says you're so cool. And I try to like say that to myself.
I
I
love that.
really do. Like I say that to myself in the mirror. Like you're so cool. Your job is cool. You know, the
Oh,
way that you are with other people is cool. Like I try to like really let myself feel the love.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like that's something that people would never think of saying to themselves, but it's true. Like the people I love, I would look at them and be like, "You're so cool. Like everything
So
you do
cool.
is cool."
And I
That's
love that because
that's
I'm like,
beautiful.
because I think for so long I didn't see that or say that. And now I'm like, wait a minute. I'm spending a lot more time outside of myself looking in.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm cool. I feel cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And it
I
doesn't have to
feel
be cocky. That's not like an arrogant thing. It's
yeah.
like I've worked really hard to build that confidence up and to be able to look outside of myself and go, yeah, you're doing it right.
I love that. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start saying that to myself.
You should.
That's
You
a
put the
good
mirror
one.
down in your car or when you're getting
Yeah.
ready in the morning and putting your makeup on, you could just say it. Just say it out loud. It's cool.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel like a lot of what all of us feel, especially like you walk into a room where you feel intimidated by people and you just feel like maybe everyone is cooler than you. Even every time I open up Instagram, I feel like everyone is cooler than me. Like I can never take those cool aesthetic pictures. I can never take those cool aesthetic videos. Like, but that's just a good reminder. Like we're all cool in our own ways and it's
Yeah,
okay to say that to yourself.
it is. Because I think you can get so, you could deep dive into social media and feel so much.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to spend your time, or you could spend your time telling yourself how cool you are at the things you're doing and put
Yeah.
more focus into that and less focus into thinking how cool other people are. That's a waste of
Absolutely.
time. You know, that to me is like, how do you spend your time more wisely? And I think looking in the mirror and saying something about yourself is pretty cool.
100%. I love that. Okay, last question. But if you were to give all of us novice interior designers one tip that might help us revolutionize the rooms in our homes, apartments, whatever it may be, what would be like your best design tip that you would give?
Gosh, that is such a hard question in design because it's not specific enough. Um, do what makes you happy. If we're talking about personal design, right? Somebody
Yeah,
doing it for
yeah, yeah.
themselves,
Yes.
do what makes you
All of
happy. Don't think about resale. Everyone always thinks about resale. Oh, is this going to be good when I sell it? What? Are you selling it right now? No. Then
them.
design for the way you live. And then when and if you go to sell, you can tweak some things. But like we have to love where we live. And that's our sanctuary. That's where we
Yeah,
go to get away from all the noise. So yeah, I would say just I think we're designing for maybe other people, but if you really do it for yourself, yeah, it might be a little quirky, but you're again being authentic. So if it
Yeah.
feels if it and if it's not right, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna sit there and go, "Oh crap, what did I do?" Or like that looks like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it might look horrible to other people, but it feels good to you. So it's
Yeah.
all subjective.
Yeah. And honestly, I love that because I feel like when someone designs that way, full circle back to you're so cool. You walk into their home and you think, this is a cool person. This is a cool person who knows what they like and executes. And whether Instagram or Pinterest says it's the in thing or not, like it's true to them. And that's cool.
That
And
is. And you
generally
look
looks
around at
good.
designers, like one of my favorite designers, Kelly Wersler. Talk about cool. She's so cool. Everything she does is cool. And some people look at her designs and they might be like, "Oh, wait, that's like too much or it's too bold or it's just mixing too many things." I love it. So, she has stuck to her guns too and she's like, "This is what I'm good at and I'm going to keep doing it and it's bold and it's ballsy and I don't know any other way to live."
I love that. Allison, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for this chat. I loved everything that you said. I love your show. I'm excited to keep up with your work and Instagram and everywhere else. But let us know, let all of our listeners, everyone watching know where they can go to follow along with your
Yep.
journey, with your projects. Give us all the
Yeah.
details.
So, Windy City Rehab season 5 is premiering on HGTV on September 24th. Going to be on
Amazing.
for 12 whole weeks. We have 12 unbelievable houses that have been transformed, that have taken almost a year and a half, each of them. And it's going to be a fun run. Got a show called Scariest House in America coming out in the fall.
Oh, so exciting.
Everyone always does the whole like, I'm working on something secretive. Anyway, I'm always working on something. And I can't wait just for the next 6 months, the next year. It's gonna be it's gonna be a lot more TV, it's gonna be a lot more design, and, yeah, I'm just excited. I started my production company, Briefly Gorgeous Productions, so I'm really excited to step behind the camera much more. I don't need to be on every show, and, do for others what was done for me, finding more authenticity and people that really love what they do, and then the TV part comes second.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Allison. This was such a beautiful chat. And to everyone listening and watching, thanks for joining us on The Shift. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us know what you think of this episode, if there's anyone you'd want to see next, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.